I'm Scott.
I'm Ben.
And this is a review. On today's episode, which is episode 20, we'll be reviewing Upgrade. Upgrade is basically RoboCop, Limitless, and Blade Runner, but not really finished in any way. It stars some no-name actor, and it's not very good. Ben, what'd you think about Upgrade?
Fucking shit. Upgrade, unfortunately, was, again, another pretty significant letdown.
A steaming pile of letdown.
Yeah, you're ragging on it a little harder than I am. But I definitely we share all the same sentiments. I'm like buffering everything with like I'm reaching for things that try to elevate it because
Well, the premise here, what they're selling us, is basically RoboCop. That's really what they're selling you.
Yeah, at its core, this is RoboCop.
Guy gets in an accident, gets enhanced, gets revenge.
Yeah.
But this is the most basic bitch cop procedural, like, revenge movie that's ever existed.
Yeah. The more I think about it, there's actually some unfortunate tinges of Eli Roth's Death Wish here.
There's a lot of Death Wish here.
Which, now, the more that I think about it, is getting me more into your territory here, because, like, obviously, we fucking hated that movie a lot. This definitely isn't as bad.
No, but it's less malicious in, like, what its message is.
It's definitely having a lot more fun.
Its message is very muddled, though. This movie is very inconsistent. So right off the bat, you have this futuristic world, but you never know.
Future, yeah.
Kind of. That's the problem. You never know.
Yeah.
There's some real far out there futuristic shit, like the Upgrade stem, which is supposed to be big in the context of the world, but then there's like full on like cyborg people with guns in their arms, and there's weird stuff going on that's pretty sci-fi, and they act like having a regular car is weird, but then there's lots of people driving normie cars on the highway, so I don't understand, like, it's not like Dread or like good sci-fi movies where like the level of futurism is well established in like 2 seconds.
The gobbledygook here is exactly that. It's sort of like a lot of individual neat bits, but they're all, again, like we were talking about, where you're sort of just throwing everything at the wall and kind of seeing what sticks, and nothing actually cohesively sort of like meshes well.
Yeah, well, a lot of movies trying to do low budget movies trying to do science fiction do this thing where they're trying to say it's in the future, but it's not that far in the future. So it's like only these small things, but it's like they never get that quite right. It's always like way too unbalanced in certain areas, which this movie definitely is. And the chip itself. So the premise, like we said, you get the chip. The main character becomes a paraplegic pretty early on, and then he gets this upgrade chip that makes him a superhero. It's a little tiny chip that's connecting the back of his spine to basically connect everything back together. It's like, okay, fine. I buy into that, but then he's scanning stuff, and it's like he's all mechanical. He's super strong. It's like the computer taking over is adding elements that weren't there before. Not things that are human reflex, like physical strength that you can't just... It's just there. I'm just stronger now. Like,
it's one of those things where, going back to the inconsistency, there's a whole bit where STEM is saying, I'm not like...
STEM is the...
You're not a cyborg. I'm just here augmenting what's like...
Yeah,
just
STEM is the robot controlling him, by the way, or like doing the AI or whatever. They never really established what it is.
Like part AI, part like neural chip, part.
I mean, it's just
like
supposed to be a
augment
computer. Yeah, it's basically like Iron Man's AI or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Jarvis. Yeah, that's actually that's a good comp. But yes, and there's a whole little bit where he's like, I'm just here, sort of like connecting the dots here, but it's still you, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
but. Actually, to go into a little bit of spoilers here, we get the third act twist in this film is that STEM has all along been this almost HAL level, all power. He goes full HAL at the end.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense because, like, there's a turning point in the movie where the creator of STEM that gave the main character guy, does he even have a name? Gray. whatever.
Gray, the main character, and then
He's gray. He's bland, just like his name.
That's right.
The guy that's like tracking the chip is trying to remotely shut him down because he's going around murdering people, and so they go and they have the chip hacked by the STEM, the robot's command. He's like, go hack this so we can do our own thing. Mm-hmm. So it couldn't do its own thing before, when apparently it set up the entire it orchestrated every single thing, this Machiavellian scheme that it came up with.
Yeah.
But then it's also like, well, it didn't become free until we hacked it, so it's like it had this evil scheme before, even though there was a clear moment where it seemed like it gained autonomy. Do you know what I mean? Which I guess could have been an act, but it's like, really? So it's just like, come on.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
too much. It's too far.
Yeah. Definitely. This is a movie where, in a lot of ways, it sort of satisfies almost like, have you seen Minority Report?
Yeah.
Yeah, so where it satisfies something like that, where it's like, oh, this is a cool sort of like near future kind of world. I can buy in.
There's interesting ideas.
Also testing your suspension of disbelief to such a degree where it's like, God damn it, and then it gets all like sloppy and there's plot holes and you sort of start getting taken out of it pretty quick, which is unfortunate.
Like we said at the beginning, it's equal parts of RoboCop. You got Limitless with kind of accessing the full potential of your body that you're not, you're subconsciously not using.
Yeah.
You got the Blade Runner aspect of like cyborg kind of people that are meshing with regular people, but it's
sort of blurring
they're
the
all
line there.
But they're all half baked. Like it's like they started these interesting concepts. The thing with the chip taking over at the end, the HAL thing is interesting, but then there's all these, you go back to the beginning, it's like, well, but wait, no. It's like none of it all feels like they're just coming up with it as it goes along.
It feels like a script that, and this is popping up in my head while we were watching it still, it feels like a script where it could have used a good, like, finessing, like not like a page one rewrite, but like someone to come in and just like guide it along and sort of just focus it a little more.
Who knows what the original script was like? It feels a lot like this was gutted due to budget, because like what you're being sold here is a guy getting superpowers and fucking some shit up, and he does like 4 times. But there's like so much time. So this is why it's like Death Proof. I'll tell you right now, because it does Death Wish.
Yeah.
Sorry, it does this thing where it focuses a lot of its time, like how is this character gonna get out of this crime that he just committed?
Yeah.
Instead of setting up this crazy idea where everyone's just getting murdered all the time, they spend half the movie trying to like worry about the cops.
Yeah, they spend way too much time trying to like. The focus too quickly turns to STEM trying to like work around being tracked by the inventor. And
that's
like,
the whole movie. Yeah, it's all about like
it never revels in like him being able to just fuck people up for a while. Which due to budget, I actually it's funny you bring that up, because I was watching. I've had a lot of interest in this movie like leading up to this, so I was doing a lot more than I usually do as far as like digging into the movie. And I watched an interview with the director, and he was being very diplomatic about it in the interview, but he definitely said that they basically had to hack his original script down to the fucking bone to make it work with the budget, and he basically had to have this really, I mean, it's not an excuse for like the sloppiness and half-bakedness, but it definitely could be something where he wasn't able to actually like make this a full-blown action film. He even had a line in the interview where he was like, guys, if we cut any more, it's basically like it's not even an action movie anymore. So it definitely sounds like he had a way more grandiose vision for this, where we could have glided more on action sequences and thrills, but it all got neutered because he didn't have enough money.
Well, it's like, then make it work for the budget. That's filmmaking. Is like,
that's true.
You don't have enough money to make it look the way you want, so you just cut everything. I've done that. I've made movies like that before in film school, of like, well, I have this really great idea, but I'm just going to cut all the great stuff out of it until it's like 3 scenes in an office that I can afford. And that's why you have student films. That's what this feels like, where it's like we're just in these... But then there's these big budget... That's the thing that's a problem with me, with this budget thing that you're talking about. It's like, well, I didn't have the budget to do what I want, so I wasted all this money lighting this bathroom that looks beautiful, or like there's some scenes that like they spent way way more time
Yeah.
on and obviously money on. And like they have these fancy cars and all this shit, and it's like, just put it in, like, do like 1 or 2 settings, do like a Dread thing, pare back like what your story is, and just make it simple. It's too complicated. There's too much going on.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, all the stuff, that car chase, they should have cut.
It's terrible.
They should have cut the car chase and dedicated all the money and time and resources for that for more. Because I think the fight scenes in this movie are really interesting.
They're okay. I mean, they do this thing that's very, like, overly over the top, like that weird, like, very jarring, like, camera movement that they do. It's supposed to be like the gimmick, but they always do that, like, stupid robotic sound while they move the camera. I just found it annoying.
Yeah, it's like interesting in concept, but half baked and a little sloppy in execution.
It's
That's
definitely
the theme of the movie. Here, for sure.
It's definitely a stylistic like choice that you notice, but it's like, is it a good choice? Does it add anything? Like, there's so many things that are like, okay, that's kind of interesting, but what does it add to the overall pie that we're trying to eat here? You know, like
exactly. It feels the movie is definitely at its best when, the director Leigh Whannell is like operating sort of in his half like Saw and half like budding, like trying to do like a cool action. Again, like that's why it should have been just like cybernetic enhanced in the first 5 minutes, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
First 5 minutes, he gets STEM, and then the rest of the movie is him using STEM to murk fools, and then
realizing at the end that, oh wait, I wasn't in control.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is cool. It's a simple story they could have done.
If they would have like John Wicked it.
John Wick or Dread
where it's just
Brawl
like
or whatever.
Yeah, where it's a one-man army. Brawl, there's a good example.
The thing is, I kept thinking during this movie, and we didn't review Brawl, but like my big criticism of Brawl is that like it's so brutal and so violent that it felt like he needed a STEM robot inside of him. If you take the visuals in the world of this movie, and you just put Brawl in that world and don't change anything, perfect movie. That's what it's literally
like a solid, like, because Brawl's a little long.
It's fine though. It's like it's a little long, and also the acting's bad. But we're not going to talk about Brawl too much. It's just that
acting's Vince Vaughn. But Jennifer Carpenter.
And other acting. Vince Vaughn is just mugging. He's not really acting. He's just serious.
I disagree.
So, and this movie, the acting is the worst thing in the world.
It's bad. It's pretty bad.
It's not. It's like The Room level bad. Like literally, the beginning, the wife is like, let's get a pizza. Oh, it'll take too long to actually make a pizza. It's like everyone says stuff with this weight that's like way. It's like everyone is overacting way, way hard. It's like everything is like immediate. For no reason.
It's pretty hokey, and it really suffers. We were talking about how the lead here. I mean, he's bad. Logan is a gentleman. Logan Marshall Green. He was in Prometheus in a little bit, which he's bad in.
Yeah.
He's been in some other like bit parts in like big budget films. I don't think he's ever truly led a movie.
No. This is first.
You see why, because he doesn't have range for shit.
No,
it's bland as fuck. He's like what that crop of like. Sam Worthington and like...
He's a Sam Worthington.
He's like a Sam Worthington, but he looks like Tom Hardy. There's a shot in this...
He's Sam Worthington doing a Tom Hardy impression, basically. There's so many shots where he's trying to look like Tom Hardy.
doing a Sam Worthington impression. It's very, very bland, generic, no charisma. Yeah, it's not good.
But yeah, there's some nuggets here. The visuals, it looks nice. It's like overly... shot at times. I think like it should have been grittier, like they overdid it, but like there's some nice looking visuals, like the world at times has a nice aesthetic to it when it's not super inconsistent. But
there's some pretty gnarly, there's a couple awesome kills, I would say.
At least the first one's really great. There's like a third one that's pretty solid, but literally I can remember all the kills in this movie, and that's the movie. It's like, really, there's 5 kills, that's it?
Yeah, for a movie, like the advertising, the trailer, this is definitely another one of those movies, where I said like with Tomb Raider, you just watch the trailer and that's peak extraction from the film. That's unfortunately the case here with Upgrade. You watch that Red Band trailer they put out a couple months ago. and you get everything that you needed to get
yeah.
from the movie.
The problem I have here is your villains, or at least your villains that you think are the villains for most of the movie.
Yeah.
It's this kind of trend that you'll see in a lot of movies where like they're military veterans. There's these hardcore murderers that come in and just murk everybody, and then you find them at the end. They're like, "Soldier, you didn't deserve this. You're just fighting another battle." It's like, no, you're fucking mercenaries. Don't act like you're this noble. Shut the fuck up. I'm so tired of that.
They do that bit. Yeah, it's very, very, very well trodden. They do stuff like that in the Punisher season.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff.
That's the main crux. Yeah, it's
a lot of shows have been leading on that lately.
Extremis, that whole plotline, Iron Man 3.
Right.
You know, where they're like, we take the veterans. And, dude, they're doing that shit in fucking Venom.
Yeah.
That's the same fucking concept. God.
Every movie is doing...
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
That's the new... Because it's like, they have PTSD. They're victims. They're relatable. It's like, shut up.
No.
They're just being assholes. Like, don't go down that road. Yeah.
Okay, Venom's gonna suck now. I already...
Yeah, now. We saw Upgrade. Now we can officially report that Venom will be terrible. Which is funny because a lot of people compared the trailers because you got that same scene in Venom in the trailer where Tom Hardy is like murking all those people in his apartment. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were comparing that to the scene in the trailer for Upgrade.
Yeah, we're just like, and then he's like, "Oh fuck, how did I do this?" Yeah, there's a lot of that same.
I talked to some people that were like, "Oh,
the voice in the head, fuck."
Yeah.
God damn it, dude! Venom's gonna blow ass.
This is just a.
Oh no!
This is just a. This review, we're just gonna copy and paste. It's just gonna be the entire time, and then Venom. Did this. Venom, directed by so-and-so and Tom Hardy.
Yeah, we're gonna like Kung Pao this review.
Yeah.
With enough relevant information from Venom and then like repackage it for you guys.
There you go. So get ready for that in a few weeks or whenever when is Venom come?
October. It's a while.
So yeah, I think that's all we got to say about Upgrade. Ben, final thoughts.
Final thoughts on Upgrade. Upgrade is at times an interesting sci-fi concept action thriller, but it definitely could have used a more deft hand like an Alex Garland or the Stahelski Leitch combo that did the original John Wick, where they just knew what the movie they wanted to make, had just take the bare bones ingredients you need, and go off the rails and make this great little grindhouse movie. Instead, we get a little bogged down with trying to do all the sci-fi shit, some pretty hokey acting, some wonky pacing as well, which bogged things down pretty significantly. I would give Upgrade as much as it disheartens me, probably a 4. I'd give it a 4. 4 cybernetic chips out of 10.
All right. Yeah.
The kills and action are probably the highlights, and like the overall like attempts here at the vision here, I'm gonna give enough credit to get it to a 4. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, for me, this movie is a chore. It's so boring. Nothing happens. The story is awful. The acting is awful. It spends all of its money on the wrong things. It's like really nice looking, but then nothing happens. So it's like, why? We've seen movies with lower budgets do way crazier shit and have more fun with it. So there's some sporadic moments here where it's like the fun is trying to work its way out, but then it just keeps getting suppressed and it gets bogged down by nonsense. Yeah, I can't recommend this movie. I was sort of looking forward to this. It looked like it was going to be pretty fun. Check out Repo Man if you're interested in this. That's a movie starring Jude Law that is not the same idea, but it's a high concept science fiction movie that does its thing. Upgrade, skip it. I give Upgrade 2 gun arms out of 10.
Nice. Another movie that just popped in my head that I would recommend in lieu of this. Dread. Also.
Always Dread.
Even more like this as far as like low budget sort of deal.
Yeah.
And like other stuff like this, which you haven't seen it yet. The Guest. Mm-hmm. We gotta watch The Guest.
Yeah, and from what I know about The Guest, this does seem very much like a poor man's attempt at doing The Guest, but then trying to rationalize why he's a crazy murderous villain.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like there's too much time spent in Upgrade trying to rationalize this craziness. Just revel in it, roll around in the filth, and just have fun. Don't do this. Just don't.
Yeah, exactly. This could have used a lot more of like the grindhouse aspirations that you see sporadically throughout.
Yeah.
They should have leaned in more.
That's that. Next week we've got Hereditary coming out, right?
That's right.
So
the
we'll be
much hyped, the horror event of the summer, it would seem.
So keep your ear holes out for that.
Westworld
and
as well.
Westworld on Monday, as always. Next week will be in episode 8, I think.
Yep.
So look forward to that. And hey, this has been a review. I'm Scott.
I'm Ben.
Thanks for listening.